So here are some of the different ways that ADHD children might mask. Staying very quiet. Sorry about my cat. Staying very quiet. Because if you're quiet, you don't say too much, you won't offend people by interrupting them. Obsessive checking of belongings and time, so you don't lose things. Always know what time it is, so you're never late. My writer friend, she used to be half an hour early for absolutely everything, and people would assume that's because she's really organized. Actually, she would leave huge amounts of time to get to places because things would always go wrong. Like she'd get lost, or she'd have to go home for things, or the sat nav wouldn't work, or something. And this was so predictable for her that she would leave like 2 hours to get to something that takes half an hour to get to, and then would find herself sitting there early all the time. And it's not being organized, it's like a fear of how the ADHD would affect her. Reacting how you are expected to during class rather than how you feel inside. And then this links as well to what I was saying about self-esteem and mental health, in that if you can't advocate for when you're not feeling good, school then becomes a place of huge anxiety that you will likely just want to avoid, because who wants to be somewhere that makes them feel rubbish and you can't tell anyone about it and you can't ask for help? That is, a horrible situation. So naturally our body fights against going, and we therefore avoid. And then you might see things like emotional based school avoidance. Hiding hyperactivity through external calmness, that's your duck on the water. But actually what's going on in your head is that you're flipping from thing to thing to thing to thing all the time, so that actually the attention you're paying is not enough, and therefore you lose track of what people say and you overcompensate. And then you just feel like you're constantly on this treadmill where you're not actually getting anywhere, but you're running as fast as you can just to stop yourself from falling off. That's how that sort of feels. Listening really carefully and focusing too hard, and then that can make other people feel quite like intensely scrutinized. My friend does this. She's so conscious of not looking distracted, like looking around and everything, when you talk to her, she leans in really close and frowns at you like she's really listening hard. And it's actually really off-putting when you're just trying to have a normal conversation. And she knows she does it because she's trying to do it as a strategy to say, I'm paying attention to you. But it does make other people feel awkward. Calling in sick, and this is why you might find people with ADHD have difficulties in employment with absences because of overwhelm, to avoid anxiety situations. If there's lots of peopling to do, just avoiding that by calling in sick. And this is why we'd always encourage, Sunshine Support. We've got a really neurodivergent team. So most people who work at Sunshine Support have some degree of neurodivergence. And we would encourage anybody who starts a job, provided they feel comfortable to share their ADHD diagnosis with their employer, so that reasonable adjustments can be made. Because even what might seem like a tiny adjustment for an employer can make a world of difference to somebody with ADHD. And then, if, for example, you do feel overwhelmed and stuff, rather than just calling in sick as a means of like, this is my only thing I can do here, if your employer is understanding and they know these issues, rather than calling in sick, they can actually help you problem solve and help build in things to your day that will help you empty your bucket through the day, so that you don't have to call in sick. And these are things that are really, really powerful and enable people to essentially be treated as normal, as neurotypical people have the luxury of being treated just by virtue of being neurotypical. And good employers will do that.